levels on the Mississippi River remain high for this time of year. That has several downtown Davenport business owners on edge tonight.
Storm Track 8 meteorologist Andrew Stutzke explains what other factors have people near the river on high alert.
With river levels already elevated, the National Weather Service is predicting an increased risk of spring flooding, and that is certainly news that area businesses like Ruby's here in Davenport do not want to hear. The mighty Mississippi River remains in its banks for now, but the threat for flooding next year is on the rise. That worries Chris Torres, the owner here at Ruby's.
That I hope is not true. There's nothing we can avoid. It's not, it's avoidable. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Torres is no stranger to flooding, with a foot of water standing in his dining room during the record flooding this year.
Yeah.
He's already thinking ahead to the next flood.
Putting in backstop valves, adding a plan of action when we start to see the water come up, what we're going to do to prepare and to make sure everybody's safe and that our equipment and everything in-house is taken care of.
Of course, the famous levee in here in Davenport serves as a good reminder as just how high this water can rise. Of course, it's 1965, 1993, but last year surpassing both numbers, reaching the bottom of the roof here. Now, here are some of the factors that we could be looking at ingredient-wise to see if we could reach that record high level once again for the upcoming spring. As of today, the Mississippi River in Rock Island is nearly twice the level that it would typically be at for late December. That's 2 feet higher than this time last year. The ground to our north in Wisconsin and Minnesota already has more moisture than normal. Add to that more snow than usual expected this winter, and you get more water working its way downriver this spring. Until the water begins to rise, tourists will be keeping an eye on how Davenport city officials will respond to the next flood.
I want to see what they're going to do. I think they've heard enough from the community. I think now it's time. If this is the case, it's time to show some action.
Now, there are still several factors that we have to wait and see when it comes to just how severe the river flooding is going to be and how it may impact downtown businesses just like this one. The first flood outlook from the National Weather Service due at the beginning of February. In downtown Davenport, Andrew Stutzke, WQAD News 8.
Andrew says some of those factors are the amount of frost that forms on the ground and how much snow we see this winter. Those will play big roles in flooding for next spring.
Welcome back. A little bit of a cooler day across the Quad Cities, but there are some improvements in the temperatures ahead. Ahead of those improvements, though, we are tracking some new moisture starting to make its way across the area, especially south of the Quad Cities. Could see a few light showers as we get into the overnight and in the early morning hours, rather. But the main show, that's going to be taking place tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. New storm system moving out of New Mexico into Texas and Oklahoma. A lot of moisture ahead of it, and this moisture gets in our neck of the woods, especially by tomorrow afternoon. There's going to be two sources of moisture with this one, meaning plentiful rainfall. One source coming straight from the Pacific, the other from the familiar Gulf of Mexico, where most of our moisture originates in the first place. But the fact that we're getting both of those moisture feeds and we're combining them right over top of us, this is the rainfall picture for the upcoming weekend. And anywhere you see the yellow coloring here, that's where we're looking at least an inch, possibly more. Meanwhile, the heavy snow still well off to our north and west, as we will be on the warm side of this system. Tracking in the heavier rainfall, we'll get one wave in here about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Could even be a rumble of thunder with this, perhaps mixed with a little bit of sleet early on. And then as the atmosphere and the temperatures begin to warm up even more throughout the day tomorrow, we'll see a little bit of a break into the early afternoon before a stronger batch of some heavier rain and more embedded thunderstorms will be arriving after 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. And this process will continue for much of the night into the very early morning hours of Sunday. It's not until about 6 a.m. Sunday we get another little break to push on through here, but then we'll pull in one last round of forcing with a cold front Sunday afternoon that will send temperatures in the 50s, but also drive another chance for some scattered showers. Here's a look at how much rain you can expect in your hometown. Notice a lot of yellow on the map. That's at least an inch, and I think that's a solid bet for many of us. by the time we get to Sunday morning. 30 degrees right now in our Mid-American Energy Eagle Eye with winds out of the east. Those will become more southerly as we go through tonight. So our temperature of 31 now, well, that's going to be rising as we get into tomorrow. And then we'll continue to rise with temperatures well through the 50s by the time we reach tomorrow night. Showers and storms becoming likely, especially after dark. That's when the heaviest rains will be arriving. A couple of rain showers continue Sunday morning, and that 57 will happen during the morning before rapidly falling into the 40s and 30s in the afternoon. Could have a couple of rain snow showers with that colder air before we clear things out for Monday and get back to seasonal levels both Monday and Tuesday. Nice little rebound by the end of next week. Could see a minor system with a rain snow mix, but even week 2 continuing to look more active with several chances for rain, snow, and could even see some accumulating snow in there too, as you see those temperatures are limited to the 20s. Your 3-degree guarantee sponsored by Erickson Chevrolet in Milan. We were just 1 degree away from that today. Wish we had a little bit more sunshine, but certainly we'll see if we can nail those 50s for the weekend. Just wish we could at least get outside.
Yeah, tough break, but so close.
Very close.